Welcome back to the League of Legends International Collegiate Championship, and we'll be your casters for this second match. I am Riku together with
Deep.
Yes, and we'll be witnessing the second battle between China versus Singapore. What can you say about the previous?
Yeah, I mean, the first game was just a very one-sided fest right there. It was very dominant by the Chinese team, by HKC. And I think Singapore couldn't really respond to the amount of aggression that that Chinese team put down. I mean, the team fighting also was very impeccable from this Chinese team. So if Singapore is going to possibly look for a comeback, possibly take this to a game 3 and secure their spot in the finals, they're going to have to really change a lot. And let's take a look at the pick and ban to see what they do decide to actually change.
Yeah, I kind of think that they didn't have any response whatsoever to the Jinx. There are so many chances that they could actually shut down. It's just that there's just too much pressure from China, and they didn't have any opening whatsoever. So what do you think that they can change for this second time around so that this will be a game 3?
All right, well, I think what they could change is, I think it was just a bit of outplays. Like the jungler, there was a really big discrepancy between the junglers of the Singaporean team and of the Chinese team right there. And the Chinese jungler was all over the map and was able to just shut down every single gank attempt by the Singaporean jungler. And we do see that China rather, HKC doing a very good job with their pick and ban. I really like all of their bans. They've done their research, because for those of you who are not aware, Orca is a Ryze only player. Same thing with Blair. Blair is a Kled main, and their jungler also is a Lee Sin main. So banning away their most played champions right there, their most comfortable champions, and first picking that a beast.
Yeah, and it's so smart that it's spread out compared to the rest of the matches where they only ban one lane. For example, in the mid lane, they try to, you know, suffocate the champion pool of one player alone, but this time around it's like 3 scattered lanes across the map against this Singapore team.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be a Caitlyn and a Karma.
Yeah, and I really like how China immediately responds with that Hecarim pick the moment they see that Karma. As for those of you who are not aware, Republic Polytechnic has played a lot of Karma and Hecarim. They really like those movement speed combinations, so it looks like they're going to be taking away the Hecarim to prevent any of that of happening, or any of that to happen. And if they do decide to take this Hecarim, then it might be a Hecarim top, but it looks like that won't be the case. They're instead going to hover over some different champions, still pondering over what to pick.
Yeah, that's true. Actually, as you were saying about the Hecarim and Karma combo, it's because, you know, Sivir is not as strong as before. It could be picked this time around by China, but the other option for you to follow up a Hecarim initiate is with a Sivir or any sort of movement speed. But then looks like they're gonna be picking a Sivir this time around. I'm not sure what do you call this, Singapore will pick as a jungler. I mean, Nidalee is open. You just said that Lee Sin is the main of the jungler of Singapore, so
I feel like it might be either a Hecarim or a Lee Sin. No, Lee Sin's banned, so ooh, the Kindred is an interesting one. And I haven't seen much Kindred recently in this patch in 6.21, so it'll be interesting if they do decide to lock this in. However, we do see that it will instead be the Fiora and the Zac. And for the Fiora, Blair is also a very comfortable Fiora player. Kled and Fiora are his most played champions, so sticking to a comfort pick in this very crucial game for the Singaporean team. Meanwhile, we do see that the jungler has locked in that Zac.
Yeah, I also like the balance of what Singapore has. They do have a good initiate. They can disengage with the Karma movement speed whenever things get a bit too sticky. It's another counter to when
Yeah.
On the Hunt is activated. They can immediately reposition themselves. But in terms of early game, who do you think has the upper hand here between these two?
I definitely might have to give it to the Zac. I feel like the Zac's the amount of potential that you can do with this Zac the Lactic Slick Shot, is really big in this early game. Like,
Yeah.
there's a lot of opportunities to get those snowballs going on. However, we do have to keep in mind that he is against the Elise, and the Elise is a very potent early game jungler as well. And it looks like it will be the Twisted Faith locked in as their mid laner, followed by the Alistar in the bottom lane. So it's all up to the final pick for Singapore, their mid laner pick. There are a couple options on the map. They could possibly take the Zillion. We have seen Zillion played by Orga. They could go for that Victor or possibly the Orianna again. I feel like out of those picks, it's probably one of those three.
Yeah, it should be something that can deal with the global pressure
And the
that the Twisted Faith.
Cassiopeia. Actually, I really like this. I forgot about the Cassiopeia, and they will lock that in. That is Orca on that Cassiopeia.
Yeah, it really depends on how this jungler coming from Singapore will mesh well with Cassio, because if ever they did not turn their attention onto this mid lane, it's just Twisted Fate with the free global roams, either top, either bottom. So if they give that so much room or space towards a Twisted Fate, they might, Singapore might face a couple of problems.
Yeah, and I mean, this team is very top and mid lane oriented. ATM really likes to get going with this Ekko. I'm actually going to be paying a lot of attention to this top lane matchup between Blair and ATM. Both of them are very potent carry top laners.
Yeah.
And ATM, I think Ekko is probably one of his best champions that we've seen so far. And Blair also, again, a very comfortable Fiora.
Yeah, I can see that happening, especially if they try to suffocate Fiora, and they can potentially do really dangerous tower dives, because Rappel and Chrono Break when level 6 comes. But they could be a potential outlay if ever the Zac is around the area.
Yeah,
So
and
it's
we
all
also have
about
to take into consideration that Twisted Faith pressure coming in from that mid lane. Once you hit level 6, you can possibly roam top lane, help snowball top, or you could rotate towards that bottom lane. Bottom lane is also a very potent lane with that, I believe it was the Sivir and the Alistar, right? So lots of opportunities there for this Chinese team.
Yeah, and a lot of, whoever gets that pressure going will have more room to create plays down at the bottom, especially if it's going to be an Echo top and then Alistar at the bottom. That's going to be an easy set once the Alistar goes in. And then once Singapore commits, it might be a bit too difficult for them to actually go back.
All right, it looks like we are now on the Rift. Once again, this is game 2 of the second semi-final series between HKC and RP. HKC, of course, representing China, while RP is representing Singapore.
Yes, and on blue side, okay, hold that thought. There might be an early gank. There's
Ghost
the Ghost
and Flash.
and Gold card. That's the Sun gonna connect. And looks like that's gonna be a summoner spell. Looks like he's
still
super
going.
Going for it, but lands the red card instead for
Yeah.
the slow. At least that's quite of a loss, actually. He
That
lost
is a
Ghost.
huge loss. Both summoner spells gone against the Zac as a Twisted Faith. I feel like that was a very crucial mistake, and it's all up to Oakland to capitalize on this.
Yeah, knowing that, they might have an early gank, especially after finishing that red. I feel like that was a bit too greedy. I mean, you could have just stopped right there. Maybe just, knowing that the rest of your teammates cannot catch up or cannot do a follow-up whatsoever. I'm not sure. I guess they got a bit excited.
Yeah, for sure. And we do see fairly standard starts coming in. We do see that Juan is starting in that bottom lane, while we do see Okoyim in that top lane start. So interesting. They will be starting on those opposite sides of the map. It looks like their priorities on which lanes to gank are quite different.
Yeah, we'll see how this pans out. And the problem here is, I suppose, is that despite the poke that the Singapore team has, at least there will be a spell shield, and all she has to do is just hide between the minions, and she'll be safe for now. But in terms of whoever can set better, you have to give it to the Alistar and the Sivir.
Yeah, for sure. And it looks like Republic Polytechnic playing fairly safe in this bottom lane. You'd expect the Caitlyn and Karma to be pushing a lot harder in this level 1, because one of the things you can do to shut down this Alistar bot lane is just keep on harassing him in this level 1 stage of the game. So by the time he gets level 2, he has that headbutt and pulverize. He's too low to fully commit without having to sacrifice his own life or possibly burn a summoner spell. But we did see that Dolphin did start with the shield,
Yeah.
so he did not have as much poke available to start off with.
Yeah, we'll see if there's gonna be a gank coming from the
That's
Elise.
an interesting pattern.
Wow, there's no vision there whatsoever, so they don't see this coming. Let's see, there's the headbutt pulverize combo and the exhaust. Dolphin is their target, the Karma. Yes, it is. There's the slow, but the cocoon lands onto the Caitlyn as well. They're moving on to the next target. Will there be a follow-up? The red is burning, and just one more hit. Repel still
Wow,
connects.
that was so
Good
smart.
flash. Wow.
Extremely smart play coming in from China, realizing that Dolphin did not have the flash available. And this again goes on to Juan. Juan has been playing so well this game, and extremely intelligent pathing coming in from him. Instead of completing his blue buff, he opted to go for a level 3 clear in that bot side, went for the gank, knowing that they wasted all their wards to stop the possible invade in that early fight, level 1. And that paid off dividends. No flash onto Dantes, and both of them died. So that's 2 kills already in the hands of China, and it's starting to look again just like game 1.
Yeah, that was really interesting. And because of that gank, it ruined the pathing of Zac. So the time frame of when Twisted Fate was vulnerable is going to be gone soon. So, you know,
Yeah.
that early greediness didn't really, didn't punish them.
Yeah, and so China sees that Zac is only starting the blue buff just now because of that ward that was placed by Elise. So as a result, TF was able to intelligently decide to shove the lane all the way up and just recall immediately. But I do like this play coming in from Republic Polytechnic. They did give the blue fairly early to Orca, so they're trying to shut down the pressure that the TF can exert level 6 due to that blue buff on Orca. But it looks like China also intelligent play, mirroring the same thing, and that will be a blue buff to blue buff, so it won't be as heavily punished.
Yeah, so all these teams just adjusting. Again, really smart play from China. And again, I believe that's the same thing that happened previously. They got with a good start. It's just that they should really deny these kinds of openings so that
Yeah.
they'll be able to, fight back once, mid-games are not giving too much, gap when the laning phase is over.
Yeah, and right now if we take a look at the top lane real quick, we do see that there is a 10 CS advantage already in favor of Blair. Blair actually forced ATM to recall, as we do see that Blair has 2 items compared to ATM rather has 2 items compared to Blair's single Doran's blade. So Blair doing a very good job showing that he's extremely comfortable with this matchup, with this pure Echo matchup. And again, we do see in that mid lane that the double blue buff is paying off. And imagine if MLZ did not have that blue buff, he would have definitely been a lot more heavily punished compared to right now.
Yeah, that's true. And actually kind of feared how there is an early blue ward there in advance. So once, ATM gets level 6, he does have room to do so, especially if the lane is shoved in his favor.
Yeah, and we do see a slow push is being built up by this Chinese bottom lane. So it looks like the bottom lane will be the next target. We do see MLZ making his way towards the bottom, but he is spotted out by that pink ward, and he will spot out Zac as well. Did scout that pink ward, what will not opt to go for that clear, as Cassiopeia is waiting in the wing.
Yeah, look at that sneaky play by Alistar, just waiting, and there's the Twisted Fate, there's the Destiny, and the gold card lands onto the Caitlyn, pulverized combo, and pushes the Caitlyn towards the enemy team. There's the exhaust onto Hilaire, will be able to do anything, but the opposite side of the team is on the run. Blair will almost die from this, and Little Milk will get the kill, and that is 5 people down the bot lane.
What an extremely fast collapse coming in from China. Even though Republic Polytechnic knew that they were going to make a play in the bottom lane, they still weren't able to respond enough, and they got punished so hard. 2 kills, the turret already chunked, and let's see what China decides to do. Will they continue to push this turret, or will they simply back off? It looks like they will instead go for this turret, and they might go for that tower dive.
Looks like they're being pushed back slowly, but they refuse to give this tower, but then eventually they decide, you know what, it's not worth it. Let's not give any more kills and advantage to China.
A 3,000 gold lead already built up 7 minutes into the game. This is very really closely looking to be just like game one again, an extremely well played game coming in from China. The coordination is on point right now.
You know how they assembled all these pieces. MLZ reached level 6 first, and then ATM was like level 5. So it's like they waited for ADM to reach level 6, slow push towards the bottom lane tower of China, and then eventually everybody's in the bot lane. Everything worked into their favor. The conditions are there. It's just that Singapore does not see this coming. That's why every time, this China team makes a play, they don't have any answer for it. Only Vision that actually denies it. It's just that they cannot read their movements, but oh wow, look at it. That is Huan. Will they land the cocoon? That will be a counter, but there's the pulverized combo as well. I don't think he can escape this one.
Yeah, and I feel like that was a really big mistake onto RP. They didn't see anyone come to the bottom lane. I feel like the time frame between that fight in that bottom lane and just that play in the top lane was way too big. So RP should have realized that they were probably going for that lane swap. Blair thought he was safe with that ward, but it was not enough. There was just too much CC coming in with that Alistar and with that Elise. And this is going to be another free turret. So within the last 2 minutes, HKC have managed to secure 2 turrets. And this should bring the gold lead to around 5,000, 6,000 gold only 8 minutes in.
They're just doing this by the book, and it seems like, again, they cannot read the movements. Despite there was already vision in that brush in the top lane, there was no, what do you call this? No response whatsoever. It seems like, this China team is just 2 steps ahead.
Yeah, for sure. And it's going to be really tough. I feel like at this point, the nerves are starting to kick in from this RP team. There's a lot on the line, and they are down 4,000 gold only 9 minutes in.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of pressure. They're probably wondering, what can we do at this point? How can we come back into this game? And looks like what they're going to do is just take a slow approach. They did send Dantes and Dolphin to the top lane to just farm the waves, hopefully make something happen. Looks like they're actually shoving this wave in, so they're going to be looking to take this turret, but we do see that China, again, 1 step ahead, already taking this dragon. And that's going to be a free dragon. They have already also rotated Little Milk and Sub 33 into this mid lane, so dragon and turret combo once again.
And the thing is, with all that you said, plus Orca with the cleanse, it seemed pretty useless now that they're speeding up the laning process, because they were anticipating, gold card and then cocoon, I'm gonna be in trouble, so I should just bring a cleanse, of course. But they completely ignored mid lane, and then they just continued to pressure everybody, the rest of the other lanes instead. So it's like no opening for this Casio to even grow.
Yeah, I mean, there's just so much pressure on the map by this Chinese team. If you take a look at the vision is extremely well done by this Chinese team. It's only 10 minutes in, and they already have very deep wards into this Singaporean jungle.
And the thing is, what I liked about the push there at the top lane, there's always someone guarding the rest of the lane. So even though that they dedicate like almost all their power force on a certain lane just so that they can push, there's no consolation prize whatsoever. It's like the Singapore team cannot take anything else away from the map because everything is all guarded. So no exchange or no trade of objectives whatsoever.
Yeah.
It's all just in favor of China.
And at the moment, we do see that they are going to send 4 members into this mid lane to try to take this mid lane turret. We know they did send MLZ into this bottom lane. He does have Destiny available, will be able to respond to any possible play that RP decides to do in this mid lane. You see OPM in the wing looking to take a elastic slingshot teamfight initiation.
Yeah, assuming that they really pursue this.
And I mean, look at that ward. That's just really good ward placement. It spots the movement into that bush there to possibly start a gank. It also spots who's rotating between the mid lane and the bot lane, and just spots who's just hiding behind that turret. So I really like that ward placement. However, it looks like RP is doing a pretty good job of just defending this turret so far.
Yeah, really impressive plays and vision control coming from China here. And despite, they're anticipating maybe they're going to siege this time around, it is a bit too predictable because of the vision that they provide. at this point, and it seems like they're not allowing China to make a proper set. You would want the elastic slingshot and everything else with the Casio ult, and then you combo everything from there. But
And Juan, you need to be
wow,
careful.
he probably is gonna die.
He's been trying
Nope,
to
nice.
solo this. Okay,
Okay, he's okay.
all right,
He's safe.
calculated, calculated.
I was a bit worried there. It was like one more hit. Good thing
Yeah.
he had repel, and it did not reset. So great timing by his teammates, and saving a lot of time there, getting all the objectives that they can. And looks like they're gonna pursue this.
And
Nope.
that did go to Echo, so Echo will be able to dual Blair a lot more better with the pickup. And if we take a look at the CS real quick, we do see that CS-wise, Singapore has been doing a pretty good job of keeping up with the Chinese CS despite the pressure that's been applied on this map. And
Yeah.
that does mean that there is a possibility for them to come back. They haven't completely succumbed to the pressure of the Chinese. And let's see what their next plan of action is.
Yeah, they're slowly chunking down this mid
Yeah, it
turret, though.
definitely should fall actually at this wave.
Whoopsies, they're gonna be initiated. There's on the hunt, and that'll be an elastic slingshot. The Casio falls right away, and they don't have any AP damage whatsoever. There's the Karma trying to slow down the Alistar on the side, and that is Huan zoning away the rest of the members. That's gonna be a flash gold guard, gonna stun that Caitlyn. That's their ADC trapped right now, and that is the elastic slingshot, not able to knock up anybody. The flash will give him safety at least, and ADM is on the chase in the front line. One more attack, and that will proc his passive, and that is another flash just for the safety and teleport as well, just to save Zach, and that'll be a 1-0 in favor of China.
Yeah, actually, that was a 2-0. They did manage to get that tower dive onto Orca, but
Oh,
that
yeah.
was just a very prolonged team fight and extremely well played by China, immediately pulling the trigger, and they made that work. Again, an extremely well played team fight coming in from them, and that's been the key to key to their success so
Yeah.
far this tournament. Just how well they are at coordinating these team fights. Everyone knows what to do at a given time, and from that, they have now secured a 7,000 gold lead. They did manage to take that mid lane turret as well.
Yeah.
And at this point, Singapore is probably starting to sweat. They're questioning what they need to do. They thought they were safe underneath their turret. They
Yeah.
thought they had a decent engage with that Zac elastic slingshot. They thought that Dantes and Dolphin were safe, but instead, they got punished extremely hard.
Oh, looks like this might be a pick, and that'll be the Zac in trouble. On his behind him is the Echo. No other CC will follow through, and he'll be joined by his teammates. He'll be safe for now. But the thing is, with the Casio was not able to do anything, especially if they, focused on him too much. There's no opening whatsoever, no damage as well. So if everybody is on her face, it's just so difficult for them to actually turn the tides of battle.
Yeah, that definitely is the case. And Singapore should probably be looking for they should be the ones to get the team fights. If they're
Yeah.
looking to win a team fight, it has to be them who initiates with this Cassiopeia
Yeah.
and with that Zac. But that has not been the case. Instead, it has been China pulling that trigger with that Saver ult, with everyone just flashing in, really explosive team fights coming in from them.
Yeah.
And that's something that Singapore cannot properly respond to. And it looks like Blair again overextending once again, but he will be able to dash away. And now we do see that the pressure has been applied all over the map. The mid
Wow.
lane has been shoved in by the Sivir. Meanwhile, we do see Echo shoved in top with 2 members in that bottom lane. And Dragon is up actually right now.
Yeah, that's perfect, especially if all the waves are shoved in favor of China. So that gives more room, a second Ocean Drake for themselves. I feel like that's all right for them, especially if they have the Twisted Fate with all the spams and all. But then again, I guess if it would be more difficult if it were like an Infernal on against Singapore.
Yeah, and we do see that Singapore is still just sticking with the same plan, just trying to farm up, just hoping that China makes a mistake right now. I mean, 7,000 gold lead, and it's actually approaching that 8,000 mark so far. And it's, again,
Yeah.
only 16 minutes in, a very dominant game coming in from China.
Exactly, and it seems like they cannot find the opportunity. Even that pink ward
Yeah.
guarded by the Alistar. They don't want to do any make more mistakes.
But I mean,
Actually,
Singapore has actually been doing a pretty good job of, as well as maintaining the CS gap, make sure that the CS gap doesn't go too wide.
yes.
They've also been doing a pretty good job of maintaining vision control around their jungle. If you take a look at the vision real quick, we do see that top side jungle is actually in control of Singapore right now. Meanwhile, they did lose that bottom lane jungle, but that was because it was a 1v2 scenario, 1v3 scenario in that bottom lane, so Singapore hasn't really come around to pushing out the wards yet.
Yeah, that is true. It looks like they're having what do you call this? China might be having a difficult time trying to siege like the first few minutes of the
Yeah.
game because they have Singapore has
Lots
a
of
really
wave
good wave
clear.
clear, so they have to find that opportunity where someone might be caught out of position, and that's the time where they can what do you call this, move in and try to take an objective. But the thing is, this Fiora, it's all about where this Twisted Fate is going to get his destiny uh, in terms of like landing that initiate, because just as you said, they have all those really good vision,
Yeah.
defensive vision around their map. So the only thing that could surprise them might be a Twisted Fate, but they're not. You don't see people alone on Singapore.
Yeah.
They're in groups now.
And we did see that Singapore did try to push out a bit. However, it looks like that might be slightly costly, as we do see that top lane is being shoved in and the bottom lane shoved in as well. So it looks like it's going to be a 1-3-1 rotation into a 3-1-1 rotation. And I really like this play. China just trying to manipulate the Singaporean movements until they finally slip up, until TF can finally get a nice engage, until ATM can get a nice teleport flank onto them. I feel like that's what's the game plan of China at the moment.
Yeah, slowly chipping down the towers with the minions and making them move around the map and not making them, stick as a team, because that's definitely what Singapore needs at the moment. Be as a team, initiate as a team, and then move on to the next objective. It seems like they're being pressured all over the map, just as you said, and we'll see where this goes in the next few minutes, as they have been, doing the same thing since the first 5 minutes ago.
Yeah.
So 7-0 still on
And
the scoreboard. They're still farming.
there we go. That's what we were talking about. It looks like China's finally found the chink in the armor of Singapore. They will be able to take this bottom lane turret, and we do see that the teleports are coming in. The Destiny has been popped. Here comes On the Hunt, and here comes the team fight.
Oh no, that'll be a failed elastic slingshot once again because of the spell shield of the Sivir, and one more auto attack for that tower. It will go down, and looks like despite the teleport coming from the Echo, from the Fiora rather, up on top, nothing was there because the elastic slingshot is not finding the right engage for Team Singapore.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like China's just going to build on this momentum. They know that a lot of the spells aren't available from this Singaporean team, so they will confidently go for this mid lane turret. And it looks like Singapore will be forced to just back away. And I feel like they're just going to rotate towards that top lane and possibly just bait the Baron after this play. It's China's game. They're in full control right now. 11,000 gold lead.
Yeah, because of Singapore being behind, they've become really predictable on how they initiate team fights. So it's they only rely on the Zac for now. So whenever you see, he's probably somewhere, they have vision and they know where the Zac is gonna be coming from. That's why they're not surprised at all. They can read Singapore's movements. They're 1 or 2 steps ahead, and this is why they move from one objective to another, and it's just Singapore trying to defend as much as they can.
Yeah, and that's going to be another free turret for Singapore, as the rest of the Singaporean team is in the base. We did see that Dantes was forced to back away while Blair was put to wave clear duty in this bottom lane. And now with that, it looks like China is indeed possibly going to be going for that Baron bait, and Singapore does know what's up, but they don't have the vision, they don't have the items, they don't have the damage to possibly contest this, I feel like.
Yeah, that's true. Only 0-3-0 on a Sivir. Casio not having the best time of her life at this point in this the first 21 minutes of the game. So looks like they're not gonna do the the Baron bait,
Yeah.
just as you said, but they're just in time. They're gonna buy some items just in time for the next.
Yeah, that's going to be
Ocean
the third
Drake.
Ocean Drake for China. That's going to be huge sustain for HKC.
Yeah.
And Singapore probably won't be able to contest this, and it looks like they are indeed just going to back off, possibly shove the lanes once again. We do see
Yeah.
that there is a minion wave being built up in the top side, but it looks like China doesn't want to take that Drake. They're instead going to be looking towards this Baron buff, clearing out the wards. And let's see what Singapore can do to defend this.
Yeah, Fiora does not have teleport just yet, but he'll be walking towards the mid lane slowly, but surely. And they're starting that Baron
I
already
really
with
like
Zac.
that ward.
Oh no, is this gonna be it? There is the movement speed, but not gonna be doing anything. Alistar shows himself rather, in the brush, but here's the elastic slingshot. He does a vision. There's a destiny, and the smite will not work. Where are you gonna go, Zac? And there is the team fight starting right now. Great chrono break as well, and that's Little Milk being exhausted. No damage at that time duration, but looks like the Alistar is almost dead, and he'll be safe for now. Where is the damage block there from the Caitlyn? Yes, it will, and that Elise is all alone for at this point, but looks like the outplay will not be possible. The damage is just too much coming from Team China, and that'll be a 4-0 exchange in favor of China.
And can China actually end right now? There's 20 seconds, 10 seconds on the clock right now, but they have the gold, they have the Baron, they have a 16,000 gold lead, and it does look like China's going to be going for another turret. And is there anything that Singapore can do right now?
This game is just so clean, and the thing is, all those ocean drakes were working in their favor because all they had to do was just run around the map. And look at that, Zac just trying to defend as much as he can. Chrono break being used. There are 2 members alive trying to defend, and that'll be the Alistar tanking just for everybody. They can go safely home to their base, but it looks like they're gonna live another day.
Yeah, HKC taking it very safely, very clean. And I mean, what a way to end this semifinals match.
Yeah.
Possibly ending the game without a single death on your side. That's really one way to go. And I mean, Singapore also had a similar game. They managed to go 18-0 against Hoofy, who just played in the previous semifinal game. But now the tables have turned, and it is HKC showing who's boss.
Wow. If ever they do end this with a clean, what do you call this, clean record, I'm going to be really impressed. This is a really good game.
It looks like it's going to be a rematch possibly of yesterday's games in the Group A group stages, as if HKC does manage to win this, it will again be Hong Kong versus China, I believe.
Wow.
And they did manage to play in the previous round where I believe Hong Kong were the ones who came out victorious over China. So, but I mean, after this game, I honestly can't say who's going to win.
Yeah, we might see a game 3, guys. But anyway, they have the Baron already. They're knocking onto the base of Team... Okay, I lost my thought there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, right now, what we see is the HKC team knocking on the doors of RP. They want to end this game. They're already threatening that Nexus right there, and the engage will happen. But they will just back away.
Man, that's an Elise with the Guardian's Angel as well. Look at that, Zac trying to make a good initiate, but looks like they're still struggling at this point. No more Zac for them, and probably the Fiora will just run to the base, but looks like that won't work at all. Destiny being used for some swag points, and there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. That'll be Team China.
Game.
Wow, a perfect game. Congratulations. They'll be moving on to the finals facing Hong Kong.
Yeah, so extremely impressive performance coming in from HKC, and Singapore, they gave it their all. They looked extremely strong. They're probably one of their favorites coming in. However, it looks like China ended up just being the better team, and I don't know what to say. That was just extremely clean from them.
Yeah, super clean. And the thing is, they're coming into the finals with that kind of momentum, with that, you know, confidence booster game. So we'll see how it pans out. What do you think? Who do you think is gonna win? Any predictions?
I honestly don't know, but based on I'll say China, just based on those games. Those were extremely clean, extremely just smart, and just very well played by that team. But both teams look very strong right now, and I honestly can't say who's gonna come out on top.
Yes, I'm really excited. I bet you guys are too. We'll be back later after a short break to witness the finals of the League of Legends International Collegiate League. We're your casters, by the way. I'm Riku, together with
Deep.
And we'll see you guys later.